Things are finally turning around and changing for me. So I know I've been idle on the channel for a while. I haven't been posting much, but there are circumstances that came up and happened, and it's delayed my process. But I'm finally at a point now where things are about to get interesting. So I just went and bought a toolbox. So I'm going to have a toolbox, and then it was on sale, $80 off. And then I also decided to get me a vise. So they had the biggest vise there, which was the 6.5 inch. It was on sale from $200 to $175, but this one wasn't in the box, so it was on sale for $159. So it was actually cheaper than what the Black Friday deal was. So I went ahead and picked those two up. I've been waiting patiently to buy a carport and or a shop. Well, Black Friday, I found a 20-foot wide by 25-foot long by 13-foot tall shop, well, carport. Original price is $1,700, and then their shipping and taxes. It's on sale for $1,300 with taxes. It's $1,400 and free shipping for Black Friday. The one that I wanted was going to be $8,800. It was 22 foot wide by 29 foot long. So this one is 2 foot narrow and 4 foot shorter. And the ceiling is the same height though. So it's the same height, it's just a little bit narrow and a little bit more shorter. But the difference is $1,400 versus $8,800. The other one came with all three with three solid walls. This one just has the roof. But I priced out the cost of the sheet metal to do it all the way around, plus barn doors and welding up the framing to be able to put the sheet metal in the front and back. And for everything said and done, I'm going to be around $3,000 to $3,500 for the building, plus the sheet metal, the tubing, and the doors. The other one, it's 3 sides for $8,800, plus the tubing to be able to frame out the front, plus the sheet metal, plus the door. So it'd be closer probably to about $9,500 to $10,000. So $7,000 cheaper. I decided to go ahead and get this one while the deal is there. So I'm going to have my toolbox. I'm going to have my vise. I'm going to try to mount this on the toolbox, and then I'm going to have a carport for now. And eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly close it in. I'm going to pour a slab, and I'm going to close it in slowly, and then one wall, back side, front side with a door. And then I'm going to insulate it, and then I'm going to put lighting in it. I'll put electricity in it first with lights and everything, and outlets and plugs. And then I'm going to insulate it. I'm going to run 220 out there, and then I'm going to close it in. And then my workbench, my fab table, my work table, my welder, my plasma cutter, my air compressor, my drill press, my actual press, all of that is going to be moved into there once I can lock it up. And my toolbox will be moved there too. So then I'm going to have an actual shop. Then I'm going to work on getting a 220 welder, 220 plasma cutter. And then I'm going to see about getting a lift. I don't know if I'm going to get a 4-post lift or a 2-post lift. I like the idea of the 4-post lift because of its lower footprint. And if it's a scissor lift, I can lift the vehicle up as high as I need, and then it has that track in the middle that has the lift to come up on the axles. So it's the best of both worlds, or it's not too high, and for the shop ceiling, but I can still get underneath it and work and do everything I need to do. So I'm going to debate on what I want to do as far as it goes for a lift when the time comes, but hopefully here in the next 2-3 months, I'm able to start putting out a little bit more content as far as it goes for working on the vehicles and lift kits and fabricating and everything else. So stay tuned, and I'm going to hopefully be able to put more videos and content out about it and when I get it set up. Pretty simple install, actually. So just got to put the handle on and then just flip the box and put the casters on. Simple, super simple on this toolbox. Just got to tighten these up and flip it upright, and then I'm going to start loading it out. But I want to see if I can mount that vise bench on here. I'm going to have to see what I can do, because it looks like about maybe a 1/2 inch thick, maybe 5/8 on the tabletop. I don't know how big it is. 3/4, might be 3/4, 5/8 or 3/4. So I'm gonna have to see if I can maybe mount that vise bench on there, because it'd be cool to be able to wheel this out to the driveway for now. So in the time being, when I have just a carport and I have to wheel this out there, if I could have a vise bench mounted when I wheel it out there, that'd be so convenient whenever I'm working on things. Okay, let me get this last caster tightened up and I'll get this thing upright. Got it. Turn, take it out. This is a 6.5 inch vise. I was able to get it mounted. I got all 4 mounting points. So on the middle of here, there's a piece of drop sheet metal that kind of comes up to reinforce it. So I had to drill through that on this side with these two bolts, and these two back bolts, it just went straight through. So there's sheet metal and then wood. And right here, there's wood, sheet metal, sheet metal. So I don't have any fear of this going anywhere. And it might be like, oh, well, it's on casters. How much can you really like apply force to that? Well, these aren't the swivel casters, but I'm not going to be like pushing and pulling on it. If I do it, it's going to literally be just to swivel this out. Just to swivel out so I can grab whatever I need to grab. So if I need to work on it on the back side, I could come and work on it or whatever. I'm not going to be putting a tremendous amount of pressure on this. Once I get my shop set up, then it's going to be a little different. I'm probably going to unmount this off of this, and I'm going to mount it on my actual work table where I can actually pry and press and bend and everything else. But I just want a vise bench that's strong enough that I'm going to have later down the road. I don't have to rebuy and upgrade, and I want it where I can use it for the time being until I can get my shop enclosed and everything set up. Now, as far as it goes for the drawers, all right, they lock, and this little key swivels. I thought that was pretty neat. So that way it's not.
You can keep it in there if you want.
Yeah, that way if you bump it, I guess it's like unlikely, like less likely to break. All right, so opening it up. In my top drawer, I just barely had enough room to get all my sockets, all my extensions. This is actually my alignment tool, so this is only one it would fit in, so I had to put it up here. So we got all those in there. Not as organized as I would like, but accessible, and that's all that matters. And then I was able to get my
wrenches?
Yeah, standard. And then my metric, or my pipe wrenches and Allen keys on this side. And then this one over here we have our crescent wrenches, or adjustable wrenches. And then I have all my screwdrivers and pry drivers and
Yeah, we were looking for those.
Yeah, I know, I found them.
Where were they?
Buried deep in the wheelbarrow.
Oh.
Hammers and dead blows, miscellaneous electrical, wire wheels, wire brush, drill bits, burr bits, tap tape, just miscellaneous. Here, same thing. We got grinding disc, air tools, disc, more disc, flapper wheels, electrical connections, saw blades, bearing pullers, air grinders, and like I said, we got bearing pullers, just miscellaneous. That's what I can fit in there for now. And then over here, in the time being, I got some impact, cordless tools. Now I was hoping, I misjudged how small the cabinets were, because I was actually wanting to get all my specialty tools like ball joint press, bearing pullers, slide hammers, ball joint separators, my calibrating tools, my gauges, all the other random miscellaneous things I can't think of off the top of my head, but I got a lot of tools in those specialty boxes that are kits, snap ring pliers, everything, and I was hoping to get all of those into one, and then all my impacts and my cordless tools in the other, but unfortunately I had way more of those. But once I get my shop and I get it closed in and buttoned up where I can lock it, that rack is my spare part rack, but it's also my rack for all my specialty tools. So all my specialty boxes go in there with all my spare parts, and then I also have a fab table, I have a work table, I have a workbench, and then I have all the other things. But now I also have a toolbox that has a worktop on it too. So the best part about this, the coolest thing about this, what I really love about this, is whenever I get my 4-post lift or 2-post lift and I'm pulling something, I need somewhere to sit it, I don't have to walk it over to a table or a bench. I can bring this under with me, have my tools right there where I'm working, and if I pull something, I can literally sit it on here, and then I can use this to wheel it to wherever I need it to go to take it off. Or I can just set it on here, like if I'm pulling a differential, like a carrier, I can pull the axles, pull the carrier out of the ring and pinion, and I can set it up here, and then I can put it in my vise, take the ring off, replace the spider gears, whatever I need to do right here, and then I can turn around and just put it right back in there. I can have all the new parts displayed, and I can wheel this with me and keep it next to me instead of having to. Now, if I have to use my other tables or my benches, I'll have them, but I'll have varieties. I'll end up having 4 vise benches in the shop with 4 different tables, from a bench, a table, a fab table, and this. So I'm super excited. It's one thing at a time. It's been a long time coming. I had to get everything lined up and everything in order, and now it's all starting to come together. So now I'm going to get the carport. I got the toolbox. I got all my tools somewhat organized. It's still all disarray with where everything else is and spread out. But once I get it closed up, insulated, and electrical ran out there, and I can figure out what kind of what kind of lift I want. And then it's just a matter of getting everything back in the shop, and then I'm going to be rocking and rolling again. I can re-gear my daughter's Jeep. I could build her bumpers. I could build her rock sliders. I could build her fenders. You know, I can do all that. Same thing for anything else. If I decide to stretch my Jeep, I'll have the ability to cut, chop, stretch my Jeep. If I want to get some Dana 60s from a junkyard and rebuild the Dana 60s to put in the JK, I'll have the ability to be able to work on them, take my time, weld them up, cut everything off of them, fabricate them, re-gear them, pull the JK in there, drop everything out of it, and throw them in. It just, the possibilities are endless when you have a place to actually have all your stuff organized and work on it, because I absolutely despise working on the driveway with leaves and dirt and ants and wind and rain and everything else. And this is just one step closer to getting to where I want to be, and I can start putting out more content. I can start doing more things to the Jeeps and some of my friends' Jeeps and helping them with theirs, recording it, putting it on the channel. And then next year, hopefully, we're in a good place where we can start off-roading and making more off-roading content. I can't tell you guys how excited I am to finally be at this point in my life, to be able to have the finances to be able to start putting everything together the way that I've always wanted, you know. And I had help from a friend who lived across the street, but there's a whole story behind that. I'm not going to get into it, but you know, he had to end up moving. I lost the garage that I was working out of. Blessing in disguise, because now I'm able to get my own setup, which is going to be far superior because it's going to be tall enough to have a lift. Now the big debate, 2-post lift or a 4-post lift. I really like the idea of the 4-post lift, just because, like I said, you can pull it up, lift it up, pull the transmission, drive shafts, whatever. Or if you want to do differential suspension work, you can have the little deal where you can lift it up, and you can pull your axles and your differential and everything else like that too. But the benefit of a 2-post lift is you can pick it up by the frame, and the suspension can fully drop and hang. So if you're doing lift kits or you're doing anything like that, you have the benefit of having a fully hung suspension. So you can actually take springs and shocks and everything else and get to it a lot easier. Downside is you're going to have tall enough stands to be able to get underneath the axles when they full suspend, and you're going to have to be able to turn them and be able to take that full hang off of there, so when you start taking stuff off, they just don't fall to the ground. So there's pros and cons to both lift. It's just a matter of which one is more workable and which one gives you more room. I think the 2-post lift gives you more room, but I think the 4-post lift gives you more safety. And when I'm going to be working alone a lot of the times, I think the safety factor is probably a little bit more important than the walk around factor. So I don't know. When the time comes, I'll decide. Also, it comes down to the ceiling height too, because the peak is 13, but I have to see how far down the angle is, the span of the roof, the pitch. So that way, if the 2-post lift is too tall, then definitely it's going to have to go with a 4-post lift. And also it comes down to price too, because if a 2-post lift is $6,000, but a 4-post lift is $3,000, or vice versa, I might just go with the cheaper option, just so that way I can have the versatility of saving a little bit of money and be able to get a tire mount and tire balancer, maybe a 220 welder, maybe a plasma cutter. I don't know. I'm rambling now. I know, dude, it's just a toolbox, man. It's just a toolbox and a device. Like, calm down. But it's the start. It's the beginning of everything coming together is what it represents. I know it's just a Harbor Freight toolbox. I know that. But you know what? This is going to hold my tools just as efficient as your $6,000 Snap-on toolbox that does nothing more than what this box does. And I guarantee you, this box is going to last just as long as those boxes, as long as it's not abused and left out in the weather. So all you Snap-on guys and Mac tool and tool truck people, get over yourself. It's just a freaking box to hold your tools, man. That's all it is. Get over. Look at that. It locks. Just like yours. All right. I'll see you guys. I don't know when, but eventually I'll put something else up.